At this point, you probably heard of the new game Black Myth Wukong. If not, you're living under a rock, and let me lift it up for you. This game is currently breaking Steam charts, and you'd be thinking, which company made this game? Ubisoft maybe? Nah, they can't make a good game, bro. Just look at the state of Siege. This game was made by Game Science, and it was made in China. Yeah, China. This is their first ever AAA game. As for now, the results are speaking for themselves about the quality of the game. It is sitting at a whopping 2.2 million concurrent players on Steam and about 10 million copies sold in just 3 days. These are not just impressive figures, these are groundbreaking figures for a single player game launch. Just to put into perspective for you, Elden Ring sold only 5 million copies in 3 days compared to Wukong's 10 million. The game itself, being China's first AAA game, carries immense cultural significance. But we have to take a step back and see beyond the hype. We've seen it too many times. A new game comes out, it becomes overhyped, and it dies out in just a few months. Is this game a genuine revolution in action RPG, or just riding a wave of anticipation and cultural novelty? I'm going to try and uncover if Black Myth Wukong truly lives up to its mythical namesake, or falls short of godhood. Already making such massive sales, it's a fact that Black Myth Wukong has made its mark in the gaming industry. There's hype all around Twitter and YouTube, and I know it's going to take just a few more weeks before either Speed or Kai start a stream trying to beat the game. Jokes aside, Wukong seems to have it all. Yet beneath the surface lies a storytelling approach that's both its weakness and greatest strength. How does the game balance cultural depth with player accessibility? The answer might just change how we experience narratives in gaming forever. At the heart of Black Myth Wukong lies a tale as old as time, or at least as old as the 16th century China. The game draws its inspiration from Journey to the West, a classic Chinese novel that has captivated audiences for centuries. Players step into the role of the Destined One, a character embodying the legendary Monkey King, Sun Wukong. This isn't just a simple adaptation, it's an attempt to bring an entire cultural myth into the realm of gaming. It's like growing up and reading a storybook and then being able to play it now. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say monkey. The main character, our Destined One, is a mute monkey, on a quest to retrieve Sun Wukong's 6 relics. It's an intriguing premise, but it presents some unique storytelling challenges. How do you convey a rich, complex narrative when the main character can't even speak? Well, the developers solved this by journals. Lots and lots and lots of journals. The heavy reliance on in-game text for exposition is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it allows for deep, detailed world building. On the other hand, it can lead to a disconnect for players who find themselves reading paragraphs of lore instead of experiencing the story directly. It's like being handed a history textbook in the middle of an action movie. Sure, the information is valuable, but is that the most engaging way to tell the story? Adding another layer of complexity is the game's use of spoken Chinese dialogue. While this does add authenticity, it can be a hurdle for non-Chinese speakers. It does have a translation, I'm not saying it does not, but there are some key narrative elements which are conveyed through poetic forms that are notoriously difficult to translate. It's like trying to explain a pun in another language. Something always gets lost in the translation. But let's not lose sight of what makes this approach unique. By leaning so heavily into the cultural roots, Black Myth Wukong sets itself apart from the crowded action RPG landscape. It's not just another game with a fantasy setting, it's a window into a rich cultural tradition that many players might never have encountered otherwise. The game doesn't just borrow elements from Chinese mythology, it's deeply, fundamentally rooted in it. So does Black Myth Wukong succeed in its narrative ambitions? The answer isn't a simple yes or no. What it does achieve is something truly unique to the gaming landscape. It's not just telling a story, it's preserving and sharing a piece of cultural heritage through the medium of interactive entertainment. That's no small feat. But I really do wonder, how good is the... Hey guys, before I start yapping more, I just want to show you this image. 99% of you guys are not subscribed. If you subscribe and like, it will mean a lot to me so I can keep creating this type of content. Thank you. Now let's talk about monkey business, and I mean that literally. Black Myth Wukong's combat system is where things get really interesting. It's like they took parts of games like God of War and Sekiro, tossed them in a blender with some ancient Chinese mythology, and hit puree. The result? Something entirely new, yet oddly familiar. At the heart of the combat system is the Ryu Jingu Bang, a magical staff that's as versatile as it's powerful. This isn't just your average weapon. It can extend and shrink in size, giving you a range of options in battle. Imagine swinging a staff that suddenly grows to the size of a building, or shrinking it down to deliver quick, precise strikes. But wait, there's more. The combat system in Black Myth Wukong isn't just swinging a magical stick around. The game introduces 3 distinct stances: smash, pillar, and thrust. Each stance offers unique attack options and strategies, adding a layer of depth to the combat that keeps you on your toes. Now let's talk about the focus meter. This little beauty is your ticket to unleashing some serious pain. You build it up by landing light strikes and nailing those perfectly timed dodges. Once it's full, you can spend it on powerful attacks or combos that'll make your enemies wish they'd never crawled out of whatever mythological cave they came from. You can chain light and heavy attacks, creating combos that flow like water. And with the focus point system, you can enhance those combos, turning them into devastating displays of monkey kung fu. One of the standout features is the transformation abilities. Unlike other games where you're stuck in one form, Wukong lets you change into different creatures, each with its own unique abilities. It's like having multiple characters in one, adding a whole new dimension to combat strategy. But let's be real for a second. No game is perfect, and Wukong is no exception. Some players have reported issues about the camera during intense battles. This can make controlling your character a bit of a challenge, especially when you're surrounded by enemies. Now let's talk about the boss fights. They're often described as a boss rush, where you're thrown from one epic battle to another with barely a moment to catch your breath. For some players, this is the gaming equivalent of a roller coaster ride, exhilarating and heart-pounding. For others, it's more like being stuck on the roller coaster for hours, exhausting and a bit nauseating. And I got really nauseous when I looked at the specs required to play this game. You know that feeling when you're watching a movie on a 4K TV and everything looks so crisp and beautiful that you just can't take your eyes off the screen? Well, Wukong is like that, but for gaming. It's a visual feast that'll make your eyeballs do a happy dance. But here's the thing, sometimes too much eye candy can give you a stomachache. Wukong is running on Unreal Engine 5, which is like the Ferrari of game engines. It's got all the bells and whistles, detailed environments, fluid animations, and visuals that'll make you wonder if you accidentally stumbled into a CGI movie. The game's roots in Chinese mythology really shine through here. Every character, every landscape, every magical effect looks like it's been handcrafted by a team of artists who really love their job. But here's the thing. You see, all those pretty graphics come at a price. And I'm not just talking about the cost of the game, I'm talking about the toll it takes on your poor, unsuspecting computer. Some players, especially those on PC, have been reporting more crashes than a demolition derby. One of the biggest issues players have been facing is something called a memory leak. In computer terms, a memory leak is when your program doesn't release memory it's no longer using. It's like if you kept buying new clothes but never got rid of your old ones. Eventually your closet, or in this case, your computer memory, gets so full that everything slows down to a crawl. And it's not just the PCs feeling the heat. The Xbox version of this game has been delayed because of these technical issues. It's like the game is so pretty, even the consoles are nervous about taking it out on a date. But let's not forget that even though it has all these technical issues, Wukong's still breaking records left and right on Steam. I just hope this game's fate is not the same as Disney Infinity's. Thinking about it, I have seen some articles talking about how does a game's runaway success collide with the real-world controversies? And what does it reveal about the gaming industry's ongoing struggle with representation? Wukong's impact on the gaming industry is undeniable. It's not just breaking records, it's about reshaping expectations. Wukong provided a single-player title that can capture the attention of millions in an era dominated by multiplayer experiences. But success often comes with scrutiny, and Wukong is no exception. The game found itself in the center of controversy that extends far beyond its virtual world. Game Science, the studio behind the title, sent out a directive to content creators that raised eyebrows and sparked debates. This directive included instructions to avoid discussing feminist propaganda and other sensitive topics. In my opinion, this is nothing too serious, and someone's trying to suppress the evident success of Wukong. As Chinese games gain more prominence, they'll be faced with scrutiny on issues of representation, cultural sensitivity, and ethical business practices. It's like joining the big leagues, you get fans but you also get more critics. But I don't think they should really take it to heart, because majority of the gaming community like the game as it was. So, is Black Myth Wukong a game changer, or just another pretty face in the crowd? On one hand, we've got stunning visuals that'll make your eyes pop, a combat system that's like a kung fu movie on steroids, and a story that's steeped in Chinese mythology. It's like they took everything cool about action RPGs and cranked it up to 11. But here's the thing, it's not all sunshines and rainbows, the game's got some technical issues, and they'll make your PC cry. And the storytelling might leave you scratching your head if you're not up to your Chinese literature. Plus those boss fights, man, they are awesome. So did it change gaming forever? Maybe not, but it's definitely pushed the envelope, especially for Chinese game development. A new player has joined the big leagues and hit its first home run on its first swing. Sure, there's room for improvement, but Wukong has definitely made its mark. Who knows, this could be a start of a whole new era in gaming. Only time will tell. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video by liking it if you did, or disliking it if you didn't. And please let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you really stayed this far, it would be amazing if you can subscribe and watch my other videos. Cheers.